Hello everyone, Srishdab here. I decided to do another fairy video about Nightmare Moon. In this particular video, I'm going to focus most about Nightmare Moon and Pony of Shadows. Could Pony of Shadows and Nightmare Moon be in the same creature? Or not the same, but belong to the same creature, or the same species of shadows, or something, shadow creature. I mean, let's see if that is true. I mean, Pony shadows are like a shadow, and Pony and Nightmare Moon are something much similar. Could they be somehow belong to the same kind of species? I might have to say yes, but at the same time no, because even if that is true, but they were even that much similar. As we can see from back season 8 finale or season 7 finale, where at least Twilight and her friends are fighting against the Pond of Shadows. Pond of Shadows seems to be very strong in magic, even when it's connected to Stygia. But it turns out that Pond of Shadows somehow needed a host to be able to confront, to move around or something, like Nightmare Moon did. But would Nightmare Moon survive by it without a host? I had to say yes in that. What about Pony Shadows? There's likely that it would have the same thing. I mean, Pony Shadows seems a very strong, even connection to the Well of Shades in a hollow in this all abandoned pony village in the far north, in a far part of the Equestria. So, what if what would happen if Nightmare Moon had found the Pond of Shadows in the past, and they both combined their forces, their energy, to take over maybe two strong opponents? I mean, for example, Nightmare Moon focused on Luna. What about Pond of Shadows? Would that have been try to focus on Celestia? Maybe. But since at that time, Luna weren't under control of Nightmare Moon, and both her and Celestia were unaware about the Pony Shadows and the troubles that the old pillars had at the time. They weren't even unaware about the Pony Shadows. So, in that perspective, maybe if they were aware, maybe Luna, or no, sorry, Celestia could have been controlled by Pony Shadows and trying to convince her that he could give her more power, more strength, and more power that she ever could dream of. But that would have been one problem for him. If that did happen, and the old pillars had found out, they would have banished. If they couldn't drag out the Pony of Shadows out of Celestia, they would most likely had ended up in limbo with Celestia inside of Pony of Shadows as very thought. That is one thing that could happen. But what if that Celestia were trapped in limbo? What would happen? And Luna if when Luna were trapped, were corrupt by Night and Moon, she would have easily would have no confidence without any conflict or without any competition. She could easily have taken over Equestria without any interference from Celestia or Pony Shadows. But if if the Pony Shadows and Night and Moon were belong to the same species, would they have been able to sense each other? Perhaps. And would the Umbran ponies or the Shadow ponies that Sombra belonged to could have been the same species as Pony Shadows and Night and Moon? Maybe. But we're not so certain about that, because the only thing is that Sombra, he didn't use any a host to to maintain his form. He actually created his own pony form. So in that part, I don't think the pony shadows that Sombra belongs to isn't belong to the same species as Nightmare Moon and the pony shadows. Many think that many some of my fans would say Stitch Diablo, he is the Pony Shadows, so he belongs to the same kind as Pony Shadows. Yes, but if that is true, the Pony Shadows wouldn't have need Stygian as his own as a host. He could easily have made his own pony form as Sombra did. In pointing for that part, I don't think Sombra belongs to the same species as Pony Shadows and Nightmare Moon. So let's say from that part that Sombra were not in the same species category. That since there are two different species, but there's not a similarity, but two different species involved. So if Nightmare Moon and Pony Shadows were belong to the same species, were they belong to the same species? Might them have to say yes because they were very much similar in that part. But who would be stronger, Nightmare Moon or Pony Shadows? Maybe both, depending from perspective of view you're seeing from. It's very likely that could have been either both, or maybe just each of them had their own strength in. Well, they also depend from which host it used. Nightmare Moon was connected to Luna, who's an alicorn, which is stronger than a regular unicorn. And since Stygian, he was not as much as good as in magic as the others were. He was more as a scholar type. He would prefer to more study and research, not in fighting. In that part, maybe it was that was drawing him to Night Point of Shadows in the first place. Because his anger against the old pillars drove him to decide when he found the Well of Shades where he met the Point of Shadows, who later offered him his magic, his power, in order to get revenge against the old pillars. So in that hint, I have to say both belong to the same species though. But if you have your own opinion about this, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, this is Switch Diablo, over and out.